Hello, my name is John Schneider. When I was a kid, I used to visit my Grandma Vi in the Jersey Bayshore area, and I'd take 8mm movies of my family and their friends. In fact, I was the family filmmaker. I shot everything I saw, and I loved it. I was fascinated by the variety and beauty of things to do and see in this wonderful area. The Shrewsbury River and the $1 Million Bridge, as they called it. This is a view of Highlands from Mount Mitchell, one of the highest places on the eastern seaboard. I loved seeing the New York City skyline from New Jersey when I was a kid, and I loved watching the sailboats on Raritan Bay. This is my mother, who also loves the area. And this is me, looking into the lens of my camera. Today I live here, but traded my film camera for video, and recently shot this tugboat in the Shrewsbury River. Welcome to Jersey Bayshore Country. Where is the Jersey Bayshore? Let's get oriented by starting with the big picture. It's somewhere in here, part of the universe, and definitely part of our world. But it's like no place I've ever experienced. And as soon as we land, I'll show you around. Today, I'm so happy to be hosting this program all about the town where I live. I'm actually the 5th generation of Schneider to live in this town. I used to come here when I was a kid. My Grandma Vi had a hotel called the Jackson Hotel, but this is Highlands, and I wanted to kick off the program today with a video that I shot called Welcome to Highlands. Well, the first thing you learn as you enter Highlands is that we believe this is where the Jersey Shore begins. And this is the bridge to take you to all the towns along the Jersey Shore. But I want to convince you to spend your time with us. It's easy to get here, it's just difficult to leave. What more could you ask for? A little boating, we've got it. Just look at this waterscape. Parasailing, perhaps? Sure, why not? This is what we look like from Sandy Hook. Oh yeah, New York City? Just a stone's throw away, so definitely plan a day trip. Rent a boat and explore the territory. We've got plenty of marinas and plenty of things to do and see. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the sights of Highlands, New Jersey, part of Jersey Bayshore Country. Here's the road where I live, and here's some of our downtown. It's definitely a small town with a small town feel to it. And history? Oh, it's all around us. I never thought I'd enjoy swimming in a river, but I do enjoy it. And some of the scenery, like this old climbing boat, are worthy of your photography skills. And way out there is Raritan Bay, where the fish are just waiting to be caught. And if you enjoy seafood or waterfront dining, we've got quite a selection from which to choose. Take a look at some of them. This is my dad at one of those scenic overlooks we've talked about. He now lives in Florida with my mother, but he loves coming back to Highlands as much as possible. Oh, here's an extremely large piece of driftwood that I wouldn't think of trying to haul back to my house. Oh, and there's lots of primitive pathways to explore as well. I think these guys are catching some bait fish. By the way, did I tell you fishing is fantastic in this area? It is. Now, while you may not want to leave Highlands, you gotta take a break and plan a day trip into the Big Apple. You'll appreciate Highlands all the more when you return. The very best thing about Highlands is the people. They are, as they say, the salt of the earth.
Welcome to Highlands.
Welcome to Highlands!
Welcome.
Welcome to Highlands.
Welcome to the Highlands.
Welcome to the Highlands.
Welcome! Welcome to Highlands.
Welcome to Highlands.
Welcome to Highlands.
Welcome to Highlands.
Welcome to lovely, beautiful downtown Highlands.
Welcome to 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 Highlands.
So, what are you waiting for? We want to welcome you to Highlands. Come on, come and visit us. Oh, and this is me, at least my feet, in my boat, and I'm just watching the sunset on Raritan Bay. Well, wasn't that terrific, if I do say so myself? The song that you heard had kind of a calypso beat. It was one of my original tunes called Highlands Calypso. But that's just scraping the surface of what you'll see. Highlands has been a tourist destination for 100 years plus. People have been coming here by steamship and rail and car, automobile, as they used to say, for 100 years. There were hotels all over the place. And then the Garden State Parkway came along and made it really convenient for people to get here. They just get off at 117 on the Garden State Parkway, and they take Route 36 all the way through the Bayshore region until they get to Highlands, which is right near Navesink and Sandy Hook. We have a beautiful view of New York City and Sandy Hook. We have the Twin Lights lighthouses, which are located near us, as well as the Hartshorn Woods, which is a wonderful park to hike and look at nature. We have access to Sandy Hook, of course, right across the bridge, as well as lots of things to do on the water: fishing, sailing, boating, swimming, clamming, you name it. It's just it's a whole bunch of stuff.
Well, I've been boating since I was 5 years old. Our family had boats when we were kids, and we had rowboats, and I've been a captain for 15 years professionally, and I've owned boats my whole life. So I've a long love with the sea and boating. The thing I love about Highlands is the mix of people. You have the fishermen and the clammers, and then you have the Wall Street types that take the ferry in and out of the city. You've got six-pack charter boats and fishing boats, and it's just a nice town. It's got a seashore feel. There's cottages, there's bungalows, there's mansions, there's the hills, the Twin Lights, the beaches. There's like 3 or 4 free beaches in Highlands that nobody knows about. Great beaches for kids. You can wade and not worry about the kids getting knocked over by waves, and they're clean because the way the river runs through here, the water's always moving. They're nice, clean beaches, and it's just it's a town with no pretense. Highlands is just, it's a real town. It doesn't put on any posturing or posing. It's just, it is what it is. And if you come to Highlands and you meet the people that live here, I think you're going to like it too. Welcome aboard. You guys want to hear a little history about the Sandy Hook Lighthouse?
Yes, sir. Go ahead, Captain, tell us.
The Sandy Hook Lighthouse, it was 500 feet from high water. Now, it's over 2.5 miles from high water because of the northern erosion on this section of the North Jersey shore of the beach line. Sandy Hook Lighthouse is the oldest continuously operating lighthouse in America. And over there we have Naval Weapons Station Earl, 2.5 miles out to sea. During the Cold War, they used to load ammunition aboard those ships, and now they load supplies for the troops overseas. I'd like to say that it's been great having everybody aboard the Mum Runner tonight for the Sunset Cruise on the Sandy Hook Bay. We hope to have you aboard again soon.
Boy, Captain Dan, is just a great captain. He knows where to go to show people a good time. He knows his history. He knows all about the area. And one thing about this area, and we say this at the Jersey Bayshore all the time, the sun always rises and sets on the water. And you can't beat it. Look, here comes the Sea Streak. Sea Streak goes back and forth from Highlands to Atlantic Highlands to Sandy Hook to New York City all the time, all day long. And it's a great way to come and visit Highlands if you want to spend a day or spend a weekend or spend a week. Take your vacation here. Good gosh, what a great place. Look at that sunset. Isn't that beautiful? Lots of birds. 300 species of migratory birds inhabit this particular area. That's the Catherine D. That also does sunset cruises. Isn't that beautiful? Oh. Well, we're headed back to port now. But you gotta look back. You gotta keep looking back because it is so darn beautiful. Now the sun's going down and the lights are coming on. Ah, there's the light on the Twin Lights, just lit up. And there's the waterfront of Highlands, New Jersey. And there's the Captain Joseph Azzolino Memorial Bridge. Isn't that beautiful? Look at the lights reflecting on the water. I think everybody had a good time today. I know I did.
That was absolutely spectacular.
Hi, my name is Bob Mayers. I'm a writer and a historian. The thing that interests me about Highlands is not what interests most people. I am most interested in the Revolutionary War period and what happened here. In 1778 was the Battle of Monmouth, and Washington, the entire Continental Army, met and fought the entire British Army over here in Freehold. It was one of the biggest battles of the war and ended up as a draw. Neither side was really the victor. And during the night, the British pulled out their troops, and they wanted to get them over to New York City. But their troops included 16,000 people, including soldiers, camp followers, cannon, horses, wagons, and a wagon train that was 1.5 miles long. And they started out from Freehold heading to the Highlands, and you can trace their route today. It looks very much the same as it did in those days. And when you hit Route 35, you pick up King's Highway, which takes you into the village of Navesink. And I read an account written by a British officer. He describes the village of Navesink. And if you go there today, it's the same, looks exactly the same. They camp in various places. It takes them a couple of days to get over here. General Henry Clinton and General Howe send ahead their chief engineer to survey what the place looks like. And he says, well, you get to a place called Middletown and the ground rises. If Washington comes after us, we got to take up our position there and fight him from those hills, the rise of the hills at Middletown. So his chief engineer comes over here and says, Sandy Hook is an island. It's not attached to the mainland. We have to build a pontoon bridge. Now, the part that goes by bars now was not a big river channel. It was a swamp. And the British engineers built a small pontoon bridge to get over that swamp to get to Sandy Hook. So all 16,000 people trooped through our town. They say they left from Gravelly Point, but I'm not sure it's the Gravelly Point street today, or Gravelly Point covered maybe hundreds of yards along the shoreline there, but that's where they left, and they all got over. And now, historians decry the fact that Washington did not pursue them. If he had gotten over here, he could have mounted his cannons on the heights of the Navesink, trained them down on Sandy Hook, the entrance at Sandy Hook, not all the way down because that's 7 miles long. The guns didn't have that range, but he could have caught the British Army on Sandy Hook. The ships weren't there yet, and they were stranded on this narrow strip of land, but Washington did not do it. He went into New Brunswick. Now, as the British troops are waiting for the ships out here, they're all stationed camping on Sandy Hook, and they hear gunfire, and they say, my God, the Americans are coming after us. Well, they weren't. They were firing guns to celebrate the 4th of July in New Brunswick, and the breeze carried the sound of the cannon all the way to Sandy Hook, and the British thought they were being pursued. Anyway, there were like probably 100 ships and sloops, and it took the British 4 or 5 days to board all their horses and cannon. Off they went to New York City, where they stayed for the rest of the war. So the day when the Highlands had the most visitors was in the end of June in 1778.
One of the first visitors to Highlands was Philip Freneau. Philip Freneau was considered to be the poet of the American Revolution. And when he came here, he was so struck by the beauty of Highlands and Navesink, which was a nearby town, that he wrote a poem called Neversink, which later became Navesink, or as some people say, Navesink. You find that people pronounce things differently here for some reason. Some people say Highlands, and some people say Highlands. Don't ask me why. But he wrote this poem, and I did a very short video of the first stanza of the poem. There are other stanzas, of course, but here it is. Neversink by Philip Morin Freneau, poet of the American Revolution. A poem inspired by Highlands in 1790. These hills, the pride of all the coast, to mighty distance seen, with aspect bold and rugged brow that shade the neighboring main, these heights for solitude designed, this rude resounding shore, these vales impervious to the wind that to the tempest bend, half druid I adore. Well, there are lots of parks and playgrounds and beaches in Highlands, and we're going to take you through some of them right now. Some of these scenes you've seen, some you have not. This is Highlands, a little fishing village. It's located right on the Shrewsbury River, right across from Sandy Hook. See New York off in the distance. There's the Gateway National Recreation Center and historic Sandy Hook. So some of the entrances to the beaches. Beaches are gorgeous here. There's about 7.5 miles of beaches. You can take a bicycle all the way out to the end of Sandy Hook. Sandy Hook and the Atlantic Ocean are located just across the bridge from Highlands. You can walk or take a bike. A lot of people do. There's the Twin Lights over there. By the way, these beaches on the river are clean and beautiful. This is Twin Lights Historic Site. A lot of people come and see this historic site. The view from here is unbelievable. It was built in 1862. This is the Twin Lights Mystery Cannon. You should go and read about it. It's very strange. The view is gorgeous. It's the highest point on the eastern seaboard. There's a museum inside. You can climb to the top and look down at Highlands and see the big boats going into New York Harbor from the Atlantic Ocean. It's very impressive. And some of the smaller boats too. Here's Hawthorne Woods Park. What a great place. These are old batteries and bunkers from World War II. There are lots of paths and trails to hike and explore. And again, there's the Navesink and the Shrewsbury River. Mount Mitchell Scenic Overlook is such a beautiful park. There's the memorial to 9/11 victims. It's the highest point, really, along with the Twin Lights Lighthouse on the eastern seaboard as well. Mount Mitchell is where my father proposed to my mother. And she said yes. This is the Henry Hudson Trail in Papamora Point. Papamora Park and Beach is an undiscovered little gem of a beach. A lot of people don't know about it. But it's never crowded. There are facilities there and bathrooms and picnic tables and little barbecue grills, and you can walk down this path to the beach. It's a beautiful sandy beach and lots of woods around, and again, great views of the Sandy Hook Bay, and you can clearly see New York across the Raritan Bay as well. I walk along here very often beachcombing, looking for sea glass, and once in a while I find a nice piece of driftwood. This is Papamora Park and Beach. This is another beach. This is the Sea Streak Connors Beach. It's the beach where Sea Streak leaves from. And again, it's next to Papamora Point Beach. Another very, very nice beach. This is Huddy Park. Captain Huddy was a patriot who was hanged during the Revolutionary War, and we honor him with a park. They have concerts here, and the farmers market is here, and bicycle rallies here, and really a nice little park. I live right next to this park. There's a skate park if you like to skateboard. I'm not very good at it. I like to come down and watch the kids with their skateboards. Man, they are good. This is Miller Street Beach. This has been a beach in Highlands for hundreds of years. People have been coming down here. What a nice little beach, too. They're all nice beaches. And again, the Shrewsbury is very clean. This is the Recreation Center Beach. This is the Mayor Frank Hall Park. Mayor Frank Hall was blind, and he was a friend of our family's. This is Cavugian Field. Here's Gertrude Ederle Park. She was the first woman to swim across the English Channel. And she used to practice in the Shrewsbury River by swimming against the current, which is pretty strong current. In fact, it's one of the strongest currents of any river in the United States, maybe even the world. Gertrude Ederle Park. This is World War I monument at Veterans Park. This is South Bay Avenue Beach, right next to the bridge. The day I was there, I caught some scuba divers looking for relics. This is Cornwall Square Park in Highlands. And this is Veterans Memorial Park. Beautiful park as you come into town. It's on your right, and it's right on the water. We're going to explore all the towns on the Jersey Bayshore. Eventually, we'll get through all of them. But if you have something you'd like to talk about, or you'd have something you want to see that we haven't shown, by all means, email me at john-schneider at comcast.net. Also, if you are a musician, or you're an artist, or a historian, and you'd like to appear on the show, boy, I'm glad to consider it, and we'd love to have you on the program. Adios.